Like I said, I don't think that we're through the 15-year cycle yet. Now, of course, not every cycle is 15 years, but that seems to be the average. Some people say they're 12. I've not seen many that are 12. I think most of them are 15. I just don't think things are bad enough yet. But a lot of people think that they are because they're pretty skeptical or they're kind of a bit doomy and gloomy in the way they see things. There's massive positivity in the marketplace. You know, leveraging LinkedIn, leveraging Facebook groups. Still relatively cheap ad spend. I mean, I know people who do a lot of Facebook ads know that the prices are going up a bit. But the spend to get a customer is much lower on pay-per-click than it is, say, on a newspaper or radio or TV ads. Still lots of great things in the market right now for businesses. Of course, every recession brings massive upside opportunities. That might be assets going cheap. That might be less competition in the marketplace. Progressive was built on a recession, one of my companies. Now, we were nobody, doing not very much and weren't well known. But because all the other companies pretty much went bust, we sort of were elevated in our position just because we were there. Not because we were necessarily experienced or better, but we were just the ones standing. Many huge companies like Microsoft, etc., have been built on previous recessions. People just don't tend to understand that. I think it's like Warren Buffett said, be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. And I think it was Walt Disney that said, observe the masses and do the opposite. So I'm going to move to the second thing then, my second prediction for 2019. And that is that I believe LinkedIn will be the best social media platform. And I say social because it's both social and business. LinkedIn has very much become more like Facebook in the last few years in the way they've changed their interface, their algorithms. It's both a business platform and a social platform now. It has many of the upsides that the older Facebook had before some of the algorithm changes. And so I'm just going to share with you how I think you can leverage LinkedIn this year. So the main thing about LinkedIn is, one, everyone's had an account for 10 or 20 years, even if you don't like use it that much. So you've got the history there. But I think people used to see it as somewhere to hold your CV and someone to maybe meet people for employment, etc. But it's way more than that now. It's basically a Facebook for business. And I think Facebook made LinkedIn up its game. So that's one thing, everyone's got an account. There's like tens of millions of accounts just in the UK probably. It was an estimate, I don't know the official numbers. The next thing is, most social media platforms will not let you get reach beyond your contacts. So if you've got 1,000 friends, most of your posts are only going to be seen by 70, 100 of those friends. Facebook will reduce the reach. Instagram, who's owned by Facebook, will reduce the reach. But LinkedIn will pretty much let you go to second level connections, i.e. friends of friends, i.e. people who don't follow you. And it seems to be a lot easier to get that reach. And so in theory, you could have 2 connections or followers on LinkedIn and still get 100,000 views on a post or 1 million views if it went viral. And I've been testing this for the last, in fact, it was since February last year, so nearly a year, when I noticed I was getting 200 new followers a day on LinkedIn just by doing 1 post a day. Now, ad spend, I didn't even really know what I was doing. I was posting content. I knew my content, but I was just chucking it on LinkedIn. I didn't really know about the platform too much. I was getting 200 organic followers a day, and I was like, that's weird. And I'd done a lot of work into Facebook and knew how Facebook worked much better. And I was getting 200 organic followers a week. So I was getting 7 times as many followers. And I was like, ooh. And this was just at the time when the algorithm change hit Facebook and a lot of people left, and there was the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and it was all going a bit wrong for Facebook. So I started putting some attention onto LinkedIn. Are we all right? Are we live there? Yeah, good. And we're still live there. Great. And I started testing some posts, putting my content on different platforms. And I find it a lot easier now to get great response, reach, followers, connections, and business from LinkedIn. The next thing is the quality of leads you get on LinkedIn. Now, it depends on your business. If you're a personal trainer, Instagram might give you a good quality of leads. If you're a cake decorator or an interior designer, Pinterest might give you some good quality of leads. Of course, it depends. But as a business owner who has many businesses, I'm finding the quality of connections and leads on LinkedIn is better for business, i.e. there's people, they're ready to do business. Now, I just launched a new campaign. It was a 4X marketing mastermind on my 40th birthday, taking 40 people and masterminding them on marketing. And I pretty much equally divided the marketing between a couple of segments of my database, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I did a £90 boosted post on Instagram, got about 43 leads. I just did one video and one text post. You can only do 1,250, 1,300 characters on LinkedIn, so it has to be quite a short message anyway. On LinkedIn, got about 60 leads, and then the rest were roughly half between Facebook ads and Facebook organic, and then the small segments of the database. And so it was roughly a fifth on Instagram, just over a quarter on Facebook, just over a quarter on LinkedIn, just over a quarter to my database. So let's say there were about 60 leads from LinkedIn for a £5,000 product, 4,800. Every single person I've spoken to on LinkedIn, I phoned them, the calls were 7-8 minutes, they were paying the £4,800 plus that, and not one person declined to do the program. Whereas with Instagram, there were people that were immediately like, I'm not sure if it's for me because they're scrolling quick, it's only a minute, it's a different profile, a different platform, different type of person. Now, I'm not probably telling you anything you don't already know. It's not like revelatory news. Wow, Rob's blown us away with the fact that LinkedIn's great for business. So let me ask you this. Are you leveraging it for business? Are you getting hundreds of leads a week? Are you getting the right quality of leads? Are you posting every day on LinkedIn? Are you putting good quality content out there? Are you growing your connections? Are you growing your reach? Because if you're not, to know and not to do is not to know. Okay, so I have an 80-10-5-5 rule of posting on LinkedIn, which has worked really well for me. I mean, I get the amount of views and comments and likes and shares on LinkedIn more than some people who have 2 and 3 million followers, and I have 34,700 followers. So it's not about the followers. Some people do say to me, you know, when they do my courses and they listen to my content, and they're like, oh, well, Rob, it's all right for you because you've got loads of followers here and there. But like, I'm halfway between you and the big American influencers. I don't have as many followers as these big American influencers. But my guess is many of them have bought followers or gained systems or just run lots of competitions to get followers, vanity followers. Whereas I've kind of done it the attritional, old school, hardcore way of just putting content and getting most of my followers organically. So what's really worked for me is 80% of the time on, in fact this is for Facebook, Instagram, this is for all social media platforms, you post content. I.e., I can help you be an entrepreneur, 5 ways to make more money in 2019, 9 predictions for business in 2019, 5 top ways to outsource for free or low cost, you know, whatever, how to deal with the loneliness in business, you know, the 5 best social media platforms to leverage your business, etc., etc. Just content. Good value information that your market wants to receive that benefits them, and you don't charge anything for that. Content marketing. 10% of your posts would be personal about you. So, you know, like as much as it's kind of a little bit naff, I've got an outsourcer, VA, agent, researcher, general legend, who works for me, and he's like, Rob, you've got to post more pictures of your kids, you've got to post more pictures of your Lamborghinis and your Ferraris, you've got to post more about your books because they get a lot of reach and comments on the social media platforms. So 10% of the time, what am I up to? Am I playing golf with my son? Am I somewhere in the cars or whatever? Or could I be creative? Am I abroad with a nice backdrop? What am I up to? Now, some people are posting on social media 90% of the time, look at me, look at what I'm up to, you know, look at me and my Tesla or whatever. That's fine, but if you want to build a business and a brand and you want to make money out of this commercially, and you're not a celebrity, you know, who's got augmented injections all over themselves and you can just do that kind of thing, you have to give a lot of information out. But if you just give information and you don't tell your story, who you are, what you do, your hobbies, your interests, people won't connect with you as much. And I found, I never used to want to post about me. I always wanted to post about my content and my message. And then when I started posting a bit more about me, people connected more, people felt that they knew me, that seem to increase the trust. So then 5% of the time you post on what's called newsjacking. Newsjacking is posting when Tyson Fury gets knocked down and then gets back up, or when Jamie Carragher spits out of a Range Rover, or when there's something crazy that happens. Like when Donald Trump was elected president, for example, or there's some massive news that's going around, or you do a twerk when everyone's twerking, or when someone wins Britain's Got Talent, or whatever. What's massive and in the news and everyone's talking about, if you put commentary on that, that will usually spread wild and go viral. Now, there are a lot of people in social media that just do that for a living. In fact, I'm interviewing one who's got 20 million followers on Instagram, who pretty much just newsjacks for a living. Or parodies or spoofs or takes the piss out of people. That's not my brand, and I don't like to do that, but that gets the best reach, so I do it 5% of the time. Now, I have a rule with newsjacking: never leverage a newsjack off someone else's misfortune. And if I'm going to make commentary on something that's someone's misfortune, like when Jamie Carragher spits out of a Range Rover, I'm actually going to maybe show a supportive element, or at least not be a twat or a troll, and just try and post something provocative, or to cause debate, or to create discussion. So you can see some of my posts. If you go into my LinkedIn profile, which is linkedin.com/RobMoore1979, so LinkedIn/RobMoore1979, and just scroll down, you'll see most of it's content, videos, information, text posts. 10% of it is a bit more about me, 5% of it is newsjacking, and then 5% of it is pitching, selling my products and services. So a lot of people think I pitch a lot, and I do pitch a lot, but I pitch about 5% of the time compared to my newsjacking, my personal content, and my main message in the content that I deliver. Now, if I want to do more pitches, then I just increase the volume of my content. Because I believe if you pitch every post, which a lot of people on LinkedIn, they just never really post, and then every 3 months, pitch. And then no one buys because no one knows them, and there's no goodwill built, there's no rapport, there's no latent built up trust. It doesn't work. You can pitch a lot. You just have to pitch as a low percentage to the amount of information and content you put out there. Oh man, a sore throat already, Harry. Okay, so I've been tipped off from someone who really knows LinkedIn that if you get about 20 or more comments in the first hour of your post, and a comment apparently is defined by 8 words or more, excuse me, then LinkedIn will usually then push it out far and wide. And I believe the other social media platforms will do something like it, but it will be slightly different. So as soon as your post is there, don't run and bugger off. Stay there, reply to people, engage debate, make your posts engage debate. If you can get 20 odd comments in the first hour, and make sure the comments are over 8 words, because I just used to go, thank you Rob, thank you Dave, thank you Harry, tag them in, but that doesn't count as a comment for the algorithms if it's just 3, because I guess it knows what I'm trying to do. And that usually will get a lot more reach. Now, of course, it's a non-exact science, because no one's going to ever tell you exactly what the algorithms are, because probably only about 3 people in the whole of LinkedIn or Facebook know about that. But it does work because I've been testing it. Okay, I think if you're not on LinkedIn and you don't really know how to use it, at the very least, put content on your favourite platform, whether that is Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and at least repurpose it and copy it into LinkedIn. That's what I did for the first few months. I just did lives on Facebook, like this one here. I know you can't see on the YouTube because there's YouTube there, but we're going live on Facebook because we have the technical issues. And I'd just go live on Facebook. When that's finished, go to my VA. He'd somehow work out how to get it onto LinkedIn. Apparently it's pretty easy, but I don't know how to do it. And then he put it on LinkedIn. And then he was like, Rob, LinkedIn is 10 minutes, so try and do 10-minute lives. And if I did a 20-minute live, because the thing is, on LinkedIn you can only do 10-minute videos, but on lives, the longer you go live up to a certain point, the more people watch it, because it's in the feeds more. So you're sort of balancing that. So I'd get my outsourcer to cut out the best 10 minutes and put it on LinkedIn. That's all we did. We'll get 200. So I wasn't doing any more time, any research. I was just like a complete novice at it. Do my live, take 10 minutes of it, the best 10 minutes, put it on LinkedIn, put a 1-word title, and that was helping us get 200 organic followers a day, which is obviously great for your business. And it's great because on pay-per-click that would cost me about 1,200 quid. to get that many new followers a day. Okay, so it's much more social than it used to be, but it's the most business-focused social media platform. All right, great. So I got my researcher to do a bit of research and say, hey, just find a post that seemed to have done well. He found this video, he posted it for me, I didn't even write it, he wrote it, and that got 169,414 views, 357 comments and 4,371 likes. Now, if I did stuff like that all the time, I'm obviously going to get hundreds of thousands of followers and loads of reach, but I'm not going to be able to commercialize it. So I'm trying to balance building up my social media platforms, commercial versus sort of creating a personal brand for yourself versus really good content versus, you know, if you post a dog video or a cat meme or whatever and you know it's going to work, I'm trying to balance all those things. Now, I used to be a Puritan when it came to social media. I'm not posting any viral videos. I'm not posting any cat memes. It's all just content. I'm going to be hardcore. But it's frustrating when you post really good content and it doesn't really get seen. So 5% of the time I'm posting posts. I'm pointing at the, I should be pointing here, shouldn't I? I'm pointing at my own prompt screen. 5% of the time I'm posting posts like that. Now, a lot of people are gaming social media doing that all the time. Fair enough if that's what they want to do. If you want to grow your reach quicker, do more like that. So a usual video in the car that's 1 minute long might get, 9.5, 10,000 views, 46 comments. A few of those will be mine. I'd say that's below average, but I just wanted to show you a variance of numbers. Sorry about the pause on my face there. My chin looks huge. Don't you remember Bo Selector, Craig David's chin? That's what it looks like there. When Tyson Fury won his fight, we posted that. My outsourcer got that video. 588,000 views, 724 comments, 11,045 likes. That would have got me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new followers. Now, what I try and do when I newsjack, which is the 5% to get the reach, the exposure, because the more reach you get, the more organic trickle-down followers you get, the more inbound messages you get. I still try and make an angle for my business. So I'm trying to make an angle of Tyson Fury in this interview. Because it's actually not really about boxing, but it was just as soon as he'd had his fight and he'd drawn his fight. But it's quite a positive personal development message. So I sort of made the angle linked to my business. Okay, so this is one I just did in my kids' playroom. There you go, you can see 7,828 views, 69 comments, 81 likes. That was one of my son getting a hole-in-one, 40,000 views. So my son always gets more freaking views on social media than me, more likes, more comments. I'm a bit I'm sorry he's got a Man U shirt on, he trolls me no end. My daughter supports Liverpool, wears Liverpool pyjamas, but my son just for some reason supports Man United. I know I've failed as a parent. Who have I become? What have I done? I'm so sorry. No comments in the threads about Liverpool. Yeah, so this got 267 likes, 114 comments. Now, I'm not into vanity likes and comments for the sake of it, other than my 5% newsjacking, because the most important thing is the views. On the newsjacking, it's the views, but the comments and the views and the likes are all sort of seem to be interlinked in the algorithm. They all seem to be relevant to each other. So you can see at the top there, top left, I've got 34,768 followers. Now here's something interesting. Probably my best article in the last 3 months was the article I wrote on Alexander McQueen when I watched his documentary. That's only got 9 comments and it's probably only got a few hundred views on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn articles don't seem to get the same reach. But, and I've written, as you can see, the 213 articles. But the problem is you can only do 1,300 words on LinkedIn. So most of the time I'm thinking, how can I write a post or an article that's 1,300 characters or less? Because if it goes into LinkedIn articles, it just doesn't get the same reach. It's just, you just got to work all this out as you do it. And I've been working it out because I've been doing it. In fact, I'm going to be teaching a lot of this on my Business Breakthrough Summit, which is the new event that I'm going to give you a 95% discount on. Okay, so what are we on now? Prediction 3, I think. And that is my take on advertising. So advertising is changing, but it's always changing. It's always changing. But of course, at the moment, there's more and more competition for attention on the platforms that we all use for marketing: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, whatever other marketing platforms you use. Facebook groups, there's a lot more groups now. There's a lot more people in the groups. So there seems to be a lot more attention. Media is completely decentralized and fragmentalized. So if you think about it, 20 years ago, Sky, BBC, one or two platforms online, that was it. Now, there's so many social media platforms. Of course, there's YouTube, which is streaming here live. That's another one. There's Snapchat, there's Pinterest, there's Hear Me Out, there's Twitch, there's all sorts. But of course, there's so many media now that many people are on 10 media platforms, and we're all fighting for attention on all of those. So I think there's more and more competition for attention. So how do you stand out? That's the big question. So you have to do things in a disruptive manner, in a unique manner, in a different manner, in an attention-grabbing manner. And on the one hand, you go where all the other people advertise because that works. And on the other hand, you try and disrupt advertising and advertise in different spaces. I was talking to my personal trainer a couple of days ago. He was doing a session with me. Thanks, Harry. And he said, most PTs aren't really using LinkedIn. It's not really a good place for personal training. Most of them are using Instagram. And I said, well, surely that's the reason you should be the personal trainer on Instagram. Sorry, on LinkedIn. I mean, if you think about it, there must be plenty of professional people on LinkedIn. Professional people have money. People who have money and are professional are very busy, and therefore probably quite a good niche for personal trainers. So, don't always think that just because the other people in your industry don't market in the same channel that you should. But of course, on podcasts, on Facebook ads, prices are going up on advertising. Or I'm finding that it is because there's more competition, there's more people doing it. So, a few things on this. Number one is, if you keep your content to sales ratio high, i.e. 20, 30 or 50 pieces of content to one sale, or 10 or 5, if you post once a week, then a 5-to-1 ratio content to sale is fine, because that's one sale every 5 weeks. If you post 3 times a day, you can still be selling something, doing a pitch once a week. That's 52 pitches a week. But it's still only one pitch every 21 pieces of communication. So you want to make sure there's a fair ratio there, so that you build up that goodwill, that trust, that latent rapport, etc. And a lot of people I see, because I run many Facebook groups, Disruptive Entrepreneur, Progressive Property Community, and I'd say every day there's a new member that comes in and immediately pitches. That's like going to someone's living room and taking a piss on the rug in the middle. Sorry if it's a bit graphic, but it is no one's going to buy that. It's just not good. It's just, bad ads are really bad because they turn people off you. So we have to be careful, because we want to advertise and we want to reach more people. We sort of want to interrupt what they're doing, but we don't want to piss them off. So we've got to pat and interrupt without pissing them off. Now, you will excuse me a pitch if I've given you loads of content. You, in fact, might invite or like my pitch if I've given you loads of content, because you've got faith that it's going to be good what I sell you, because you've already had a lot of rapport, you've implemented stuff I've taught you that worked. You've spent time, those 10 hours that you need to trust me have all been ticked off. And that leads me to the next point, which is 10 hours of trust in the bank. I would say it's smart not to sell for the first, this mic isn't on, is it? This one, I've got my lapel mic because of the tech issues. All right, I'm going to take off my jacket because I am boiling. So, once people have seen you, spent time with you, once they say, don't they, know, like, trust, that takes about 10 hours. Used to take 7, apparently, takes 10 now. So if you have a podcast, then you can do 100 hours of that before you even meet someone. If you do live videos, Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, if you put content out there, then you build these 10 hours plus without ever having to have a one-to-one client meeting for 3 hours. You all right, Aaron? Cheers. So there's, I'm talking quite a lot on this live stream about what is ultimately known as content marketing, i.e. you put lots of valuable content out there, you earn the right, earn the honour and build the trust, and then people will trickle down, find your stuff and buy your stuff, either indirectly or from your occasional pictures. And some people are, well, that takes ages, or I don't want to be one of those influencers, or there's all these people doing their Facebook lives in their cars, or whatever hang up you have about doing it. I'd say the only thing that you're hung up on is yourself. Get over it. I never wanted to do selfie videos in the early days. I was really uncomfortable doing it. My ginger beard looks massive. My chin looks freaking huge. I wasn't so confident if the market would like the content I'm giving. I had my own issues. Now I want to up from 1 a day to 3 a day on every profile. Now when my market says to me, Rob, that's too much, I'll go down. But people are only saying to me at the moment, most people, not my haters of course, but most of the people that follow me that like my work want more, not less. So the quicker you can build that 10 hours, then you can start pitching. Then you can, and by the way, you can pitch whenever you want. But I want you to pitch and get business. I don't want you to pitch and push people away. I don't want your pitches to be ineffective because you did them too early or you didn't have the rapport. But if you can get, let's say you went 10-to-1 ratio. If you do 10 posts a week, you can sell once a week. If you do 20 posts a week, you can sell twice a week. If you do 30 posts a week, you can sell 3 times a week. And I promise you, your followers and your fans, your customers, they will not be pissed off as long as there's a fair ratio, because I would know it. I sell a lot. But I don't really have anyone ever saying, oh, you're selling too much, stop selling, it's too much pitching. So, you know, if I can encourage you to get more work out there, therefore to get more pitches out there, therefore you'll make a lot more money. Okay, so Chris Evans, obviously he's a big guy in media, you know, like he's the most popular radio DJ there is, certainly in the UK. And he's teamed up with Virgin in the Sky, and they're testing a brand new disruptive radio ad model where they are no longer doing radio ads. Now, I'm sure you'd agree, many people tune out to radio ads and podcast ads. They're just like, either skip on the podcast or they just don't listen. They must be less and less effective. I mean, imagine radio in the early days, in whatever, let's say the 1960s, and you're twiddling the knobs and it's a bit of interference. You hear an ad, you're like, oh, I bet those ads sold millions of pounds worth of products because it was new. It was a surprise. It had, you know, that pattern interrupt, but now we just tune out from them. So you want to be careful to always be testing your ads to make sure that people aren't tuning out to your posts. If you're not getting likes, shares, comments, business, sales and leads, it means your advertising isn't working. Don't flog a dead horse. So what Chris Evans is doing is, instead of having an ad on the radio, someone will sponsor that particular show. Then they'll go and do the radio show at that location. So let's say it's John Lewis. So instead of, you know, there being ads for John Lewis, they'll go to John Lewis, they'll go in a John Lewis store or John Lewis HQ, they'll talk to some John Lewis staff, and they'll bring the John Lewis into the radio show. And of course, John Lewis will pay ad spend for that. So they're trying to make it part of the show. I'm watching that closely because I haven't run any ads on my podcast because I didn't want to basically piss a lot of people off. Even though I could make millions out of ads from my podcast with all the downloads and the subscriptions we have on all our podcasts. Thankfully, I don't need the money, and I'm a bit British about it. Oh, I don't want to ruin my art by putting an ad in it, and I know British people won't want ads. Whereas American ones have got one at the start, one in the middle, one at the end, and another one at the end. But I'm going to watch this closely because this might be a good way for me to test bringing in ad revenue. It might be a good way for you to test bringing in ad revenue. But the point is they're testing something new because they feel that the old is not working quite as well. So innovate your advertising, innovate your marketing. For example, do your pitches in different locations. You know, we've built this new studio, okay, we're having to run it from iPad and iPhone now because we had tech issues. But could you just turn, I don't know, maybe you could just turn around and show the studio. If I unplug this, will this go off or not?
No, you can take that out. Yeah.
Okay, so hi. So I don't know, I'm not going to be able to see what you're doing, but like you can see my view here. So we're still having teething problems. I did warn people about that. This is only our second live stream. But you know, we've got 3 fixed cameras there. So Harry is YouTube streaming me and I'm live feeding him. We're going to have an interactive whiteboard over where Harry is. That's just a fully painted whiteboard that I was really looking forward to using, but unfortunately we had some tech issues. There's Belly, you're famous again. So we're testing this new media, and you know, people are loving the concept. They love the way the studio looks. There's a bit more going on than me just sitting in my living room. Once the tech issues are out of the way, we're not perfect. I don't expect us to be. I'm sure you forgive us of these little tech issues. Once they're out of the way, this will be, this will work. It'll be new. It'll be innovative. But if I do a live video every day in the studio for the next year, you'll tune out. Oh, this is just Rob in the studio, does that every time. So I might get in the car, drive around, do a video in Dubai, whatever. So the backdrop. Now, when my outsourcer, VA, agent, general legend said to me, Rob, you've got to start doing your videos in different locations. I was like, that's a pain in the arse. I'll do them from my living room. It won't make any difference to the content. It makes a huge difference, and here's why. Because we're all scrolling. All day scrolling. Your customers are scrolling, your followers are scrolling, your fans are scrolling. Have you got all of the bullets in? Good. And what's going to stop them scrolling? Something that jumps out, which is called a pattern interrupt. So movement or a backdrop is going to stop them scrolling. So even professional companies now do professional ads. They're actually making their ads look a bit wobbly, or they're doing them on location from a phone to give you that dynamic feel to grab your attention. You've turned the aircon on, haven't you? It's absolutely freezing now. No, it's all right. Yeah, it's all good. All right, great. I'm quite happy after the fourth one, Harry Bella, to do a few questions.
Great.
Right, if you've got any questions, put it in on the live feed on Facebook, put it in on the YouTube live stream. About prediction 4 or 5, I'll take a few questions, give you a break from me just talking at you, give you a chance to interact, give my voice a rest, and then I'll do them again at the end. I still think actually I'll probably be maybe only 5 or 10 minutes over the planned finish, even though we had 15 minutes of tech issues. Okay, great. So while these questions are coming in, number 4 is, I believe it's important to start telling your story a lot more. Now, years ago when I was doing a lot of public speaking gigs, I'd tell my same story of, my dad was an entrepreneur, he raised me to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I got stuck in the school system sort of wedged me down a path, I lost my way, I wasn't interested in any of the careers in the school system because that's not what I wanted to do. I sort of got distracted by drink and women, and then I was 25 working for my dad in his pub, Skin, this person who wanted to run his own business and be something and be an entrepreneur, and I'm 25, 26 years old and my life has drifted away. Then my dad had a nervous breakdown in his pub in front of all of his customers. He got beaten up by the police. He got sectioned in front of them all, including my mum, my sister, and myself. He got put away in Ward 5 of the hospital. He was in there for months, for years. He was in and out. He was diagnosed with bipolar or manic depression. We had years of struggle with him, and because my dad was and still is my hero, that hit me like a lightning bolt. And I knew that I felt shame and responsible or part responsible for that. He'd put me through school, through uni, paid for everything. I got myself in debt. I'd got him into debt. And for what? Well, I was a failure. And so I thought, I've got to do something, and I had no idea what to do. The only thing I was really good at was art. Drawing and painting. I'd got A stars and 100% all the way through. In fact, I was the only person in the UK to get 100% at GCSE art in my year at that time. I know because I was told, because no one ever gets 100% in art because it's subjective. So that was something I could do. So I started painting, sold a few, experienced freedom and working for myself and quite enjoyed it, but I couldn't really make much money and got into debt. And then I started searching for more business opportunities. A gallery owner of mine was pushing me to get to this property event in Peterborough, because everyone was in property in 2005 and 6, weren't they? Oh, what did I know about property? I was a skin artist. But because I was desperate at this point, because I wasn't really making any money and I still wasn't making my dad proud and all that stuff had happened, I went along to a property networking event and I met my now business partner Mark Homer there. Found him a bit weird at first. I think he probably found me even more weird. We forged a partnership. We bought 20 properties all with his money in the first year, 30 properties with his mum's money and my mum's money and my uncle's money and his stepdad's money in the second year. And by the end of the third year, we had 100 properties. I became a millionaire between the age of 30 and 31. Anyway, I could carry on. But most people don't know that journey because I stopped telling it for years. I stopped telling it because I just get in this mode. You don't care about that. You don't want to hear me blowing my own trumpet. Even though I'm quite an American English that I do promote, I'm still quite English. And I don't want to carry on repeating myself, and I don't want to sell. And if you want to buy it, please after you. But I'm not going to push you into it. Take all the time that you want. Oh no, after you. And then the Americans go and sell them, which I admire, by the way. I'm not criticising the Americans. I've learned from the Americans. I want to be more like that culture of, there's nothing wrong with telling a story if it can move and motivate and inspire people. And if people know your story and they can relate to it, it's going to help them get in your communities and buy your products and services. So I'm going to start bringing you more into my life and the stories. Facts tell, stories sell. But for years it was just like content and then the occasional offer. So are you telling your story often? Now remember, I said 80, 10, 5, 5. 8% content, 10% about you, 5% pitching, 5% newsjacking. So 10% of your posts. Hey, I'm Rob and I'm actually in Dubai at the moment. Bobby's got a big golf championships. Blah, 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 blah. Did you know that I'm really into vinyl and I love my hi-fi and what kind of music are you into? I'm into this kind of music. I'm doing a health kick at the moment, a big transformation. I've lost 5 kilos in the first 2 weeks. What are your health goals for 2019? If I start talking, these are all true things, by the way. If I start talking about all these things, we start relating to each other because, yeah, you might love my content or you might not. But you still want to relate to me as a person because you're probably not going to buy from me if you love my content, but you think I'm an idiot. So if you get to know me a bit and you think there's some things about me that you like, I'm saying me because you're watching, but I mean you to your customers and your clients. Okay, so what's unique about you? Well, for me, maybe being an artist and then being a capitalist business owner, that sort of paradox between creativity and commercialism. That dark pain and depression of being an artist and then that sort of being positive and motivated to be an entrepreneur and a hustler. That's a paradox and there aren't many people that embrace that. That's unique about me. It might not make me, I'm not saying it makes me better or worse, it doesn't, it makes me me. But you need to show the world who you are and show the world what's unique about you. I don't wear the same kind of clothes. I've got some random painted eagle on my t-shirt and a suit jacket with a zip on the back. So I clearly haven't got any fashion sense. And it would cost a lot of money not to have this fashion sense. But I love fashion. I love art. I love music. I love business. I love public speaking. I love social media. I love being involved with my clients, knowing who they are, knowing what they do, getting to know them. There's nothing wrong with you sharing that. Okay, does everyone know what you do? My guess is not, because my guess is you're not out there enough marketing yourself. If there's anything you need to get over in 2019, it's yourself. And for me, it was going from a few posts a week to 1 post a day, because I didn't want them to see me post once a day. Well, the thing is, when you post once a day, most people don't see that because they reduce your reach on the algorithms. So if I post once a day on a platform, the average person's probably going to see 1 post of mine every 6 days. So I perceive everyone seeing my big ginger chin all day, every day, but they're not. I post once a day and the average individual will see me once a week. So now I need to post 3 times a day, so the average individual will see me once every 3 days, because if I'm not doing it, my competitors are. And that was a bit of a sort of a breakthrough moment for me to realise I'm not in people's faces as much as I think. Now your fans will want to see you 3 times a day. So I know Grant Cardone posts 9 times a day on Twitter, and I'm like, too much, mate. In fact, he should be posting 10 times a day, because then that's 10x. But no, that inspired me to post more. I should be posting more. Okay, if you want to create your story into a model, the then, now, how action is a good balance of your story and commercializing it. So then is, a few years ago I was skint. Now I'm, a pretty successful property investor and business owner. I became a millionaire between the age of 30 and 31. How is, I got into property. I did no money down deals by finding a joint venture partner. Then I got into running a separate business and created multiple streams of income through training. And then I embraced social media and marketing. An action is, and if you'd like to learn how to do the same thing, then subscribe to my channel, or listen to my podcast, or come on my Business Breakthrough Summit. So then now how action. Now if you haven't got anything to sell at the end, the action is get off your ass and do it and give your followers some kind of motivation. Now even if you're an electrician, even if you're a some kind of, I don't know, physician, clinician, or you're in some kind of business model where you perceive having a personal brand doesn't benefit you, it does benefit you. Because if you want to grow your practice, if you ever want to quit the job, if you want an asset separate to your company and therefore you've got more than one asset, therefore you've got more than one income stream, then you need a brand around yourself. Now there are 3 types of brand. And if you're smart, like say for example Steve Jobs, then you can leverage them all. Some people leverage 1, 2, or them all. So the first type of brand is the company brand. So that might be Apple or Progressive. The second kind of brand is the product brand. So that might be the iPhone, or it might be our multiple streams of property income event. And then the third type of brand is the personal brand. So that Steve Jobs, me, Mark, my business partner in Progressive Property in my companies. Now, if you can leverage all 3, you have more than one stream of income. You have de-risking, like if Steve Jobs decided he wants to sell Apple before he passed away, he could sell that for a few billion and then he can go and do what he wants because he's got a massive personal brand. He can go and get public speaking gigs for 500 grand. He could go and start a new company. It's Steve Jobs and everyone loves him and chucks billions at him. So that personal brand is not just for people who directly leverage a personal brand for a business. It's for you if you want multiple income streams, multiple assets, you want future proofing from business models changing. You got some questions there, Harry? I'll take them in a minute. Now, if you can weave stories into pictures so you can tell stories and sell at the same time, that's likely to be more effective than direct pitching. Facts tell, stories sell. People buy the story of Apple and the iPhone. They buy, it's 1,500 quid now for an iPhone, but it's about owning something that has a story, a message, a brand. We are not like those people who have the Samsungs or the Huawei's, or how do you pronounce that? Huawei, or however you say it. Okay. Also, when you're telling your story and you're teaching people about your business model and you're looking for clients and followers and fans and leads, give the roses as well as the thorns. Some people are just bragging all the time. Some people are just moaning all the time. I would say when it's time to brag because you've done something legitimately good and it's truthful, don't be afraid to blow your own trumpet. I need to do that more. I do, and some people are going to, really, but I do. But then, because there's loads of things I've done that you don't know about. But also, when things go wrong and you have difficulties, be real about it, be honest about it. I mean, people, all these words like authentic and real and all that, what that really means is tell the fucking truth. When it's going well, tell the truth. Don't hide it, don't be ashamed of it. When you're struggling, tell the truth and give some lessons on it. Let's say you're a property investor, you had a major down valuation, you were trying to get your money back out, you couldn't get your money back out. Tell the story about it into a piece of content. My PA left at the end of last year. There'll definitely be a podcast on that. And when I write the new job description for a PA, I'll share that with you. It doesn't make me a bad business owner because my PA left. My PAs tend to leave every year. That still doesn't make me a bad business person, no. Anyway, so, if you share the truth, people will trust you. They want truth. They don't want lies, fake lies, all this soundbitey stuff. They want truth, unedited truth. Okay. And then when you tell your story, don't just go me, my mama, look at me, mwah, mwah, look at me telling my story, I love me. It's also about how we can help other people. So if I'm telling you my property journey and me doing deals with no money down, none of my own money down, well, I can inject into that that you can do it too and teach you some ways to do no money down property investing. Or, I'm of course talking to you about my LinkedIn profile here, but then I'm also giving you some strategies to use and leverage LinkedIn so that you can get some tips that are applicable to you. So the more I can tell them my story but make it relevant to you, the more you know about me. I get mind space with you, but you don't care about me. You care about what you get out of me that's relevant to you in your life. That's the ultimate reality. People don't follow me because they like me. People follow me because I educate them, inspire them, motivate them, frustrate them, push their buttons, waken something inside of them, give them stuff they didn't know before, make them believe in themselves more. That's what they do it for. Now with celebrities it's different. If you're a celebrity, look at me, and people love it. I'd love to just pout all freaking day and sell posts for £1 million. I'm not knocking it, because if I could do it, I would. I would put stuff in my lips, my hips, and my, if I could get £1 million a post. Fair play to them. I'm just a C-lister. I'm not an A-lister like them. Okay, should we do a few cues? Yeah. All right. Okay, Dean. Thanks, Dean, for the question. With a lot of competition around me, what's your advice when starting? So, first thing is, what's unique about you? Try and find something that's unique about you, so that you can market and position yourself around that. When Mark and I started in property, there were loads of property trainers and training companies when we launched Progressive, and they all wore grey suits and they all wore white shirts with one button undone, and they all wore Clark's shoes, and the trousers were slightly too short. And then there comes along this guy with his edgy fashion, and Mark with his spiky hair, and me with my ginger beard, and with a, like tight Italian suits and stripy shirts and mouthiness and more inspiration and motivation, as well as just the dry, boring information. And of course, some people are like, who are these upstarts? And within 5 years, we're the biggest property training company in the UK. So, what's unique about you? Number two, the next thing you should definitely do though, is you should mystery shop all your competition. Find out what they're doing, because I am not cocky enough just because we've got the biggest property training company in the UK to think I can't learn something from everyone. And often the younger upstarts, like we were 7 or 8 years ago, could you get the aircon turned off? They do new, fresh, innovative things like we were 7 or 8 years ago. The kids that are 25 and 30 years old. I'm 40 now. I've got kids. I've got a lot to lose. I've got 75, 80 staff. I've got £520,000 a month overhead just on one of my training businesses. I've got a lot to lose. That gives you fear. That makes you safe. That makes you comfortable. It's a few of the reasons why when I got 40, I looked to shake this all up. So price shop your competition, the existing big players and the smaller players. Look at where they're marketing and try and do it better, and look at where they're not marketing and market there. Okay, so Lewis has asked, do you think businesses will introduce more AI and AR in their marketing? 100%. I tend to be pretty innovative and a little disruptive. And in the Property Super Conference in 2010, I bought a drone and I wanted to fly it around Wembley to do cutaways of all the talk, all the speakers, and everyone was like, you can't do that, health and safety, well, it's not going to work, but we haven't got the tech, and they poo-pooed it all. And now that's what people are doing. In 2019, I said it 9 years ago. You can tell I'm getting 40 now, I'm getting old. Artificial intelligence, virtual reality, all of these things, like if you're a property investor, think about this. You're not going to need to go and view a property in the next few years, especially if you're like buying investments. You just put your headset on and you get a 360 walk around. I spoke to someone today who's got a business that does 360-degree viewings of rooms on CGI. And if you've got an HMO with 8 rooms in it, you can do the CGI on them all once, and then you rent out all the rooms, and then when someone leaves, you don't even have to go in and video the room, because you've already got the CGI of the room, and they just look at the CGI of the room, and you don't have to interrupt all the other tenants. So yes, Lewis, good spot. There's a reason I didn't put this in, because I was talking about this 2 years ago a lot, and when I was writing my book Money, and it was a bit early, and I thought more people would be on VR headsets, more people would be using AI and Internet of Things and stuff like that than are in a more sort of general business sense. It seems to be just taking a bit of time to become commonplace. It will get there for sure. All right, cool. Joanne, good question. How do you overcome imposter syndrome or fear of perfection? Okay, so a couple of things here. Number one is, every human being on the planet has a unique set of skills and talents and values. That is undeniable. It might not be what you perceive is great, because what you perceive is great is either what you're great at or you have a void in your life that you'd like to be great at. Because if you're not interested in chess, you don't give a shit if someone's a grandmaster at chess, unless you're trying to reverse engineer success. So your bias is to look at people who are successful in the areas you want to be, or you're becoming, or look at yourself in the areas that you like and you value, and you perceive that person as great. But someone else who loves chess sees a grandmaster as great. Someone else who loves perfume sees Joe Malone as the hero. So we all pedestalize people based on our own voids and values. Imposter syndrome is I don't deserve success and I'm a fraud. But every person has a unique set of values and skills and talents. Therefore, every person on the planet deserves, if no one was born to be poor and skint and to not live according to their values and play small. No human, because that doesn't actually serve evolution. To manifest our greatness serves evolution. It's good for evolution to become great because it helps our survival. So Joanne and everyone has something to bring to the market. You just have to find out what that is. And they're simultaneously on the planet. There'll be someone who loves you and someone who loathes you, someone who stands for you and someone who stands against you, someone who stands by you and someone who is like fighting and has a what are those things that you hold up and you like a little sign, a picket is it or whatever, you know, they go down to London and they're like Trump out, Trump out. Well, someone's got one of your name on one of those because that's the reality of life. Fear of perfection, I think what you mean is you're a perfectionist because you want to be perfect because you fear not being perfect. Well, the reality is no one is perfect. I wrote a book called Start Now, Get Perfect Later for the fact that there's a lot of people that are hiding behind perfectionism. I just want to get it better, I just want to be better, because that lasts their whole life and they never put any art or work out to the masses. I was interviewing a lady called Annie, a lovely lady who I'm doing some one-to-one work with on social media. She was sat here and she was talking about the same thing. She's a perfectionist. Now, in her corporate job, she was able to have a perfect vision, and then she had a load of team members she could pass it all to, and it was their responsibility to get that done. Now she's working for herself. If there's an issue with the clients, it's on her. She wants to be brilliant for the clients. So therefore, she's trying to get everything perfect. Therefore, she's not getting stuff out quick enough. But the reality is, like, perfection is the enemy of progress. Perfection is the enemy of just getting any work out there. It's a curse to be a perfectionist. It's not a gift, it's a curse. Unless you're a pilot. Because what you don't want to do is miss one thing on that checklist. If you're a doctor, you know, you need to follow a perfect checklist. So I get it in some instances. Is that another question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But anyway, I could go on about this for ages, Joanne, but I don't want to be late. So I'm going to move back onto the predictions, but I've got a whole load more questions that I'll answer. I've written a book called I'm Worth More, which comes out later in the year, Joanne, and everyone, if you've got like self-worth sort of issues or not feeling good enough, imposter syndrome, always wanting to be perfect, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being liked, etc. Okay, wow, that's all right. I'm going to keep number 5 pretty short. You should be putting your prices up. There's inflation, which is eroding your actual prices by maybe 3% a year. Competition into the market, taking your share. Competition putting prices up. Your overhead is increasing all the time because your suppliers are putting their prices up. You know, the ad platforms are putting their prices up. So you have to put your prices up, I reckon, 5% a year just to stay afloat. Rolex and other luxury brands, they put their price up around about 5% a year. So 3 to 5% a year just to stay net zero. Now, what a lot of people do is they fear putting their prices up because all their clients will leave and everyone will moan and bitch and complain and they'll lose all the business and they'll be down KFC licking people's fingers for food. They're so skint. That's what they perceive. But in reality, it's better to put your price up 5% a year than to wait 5 years and put it up 25%. Because if you put it up 25%, there will be a cost, there'll be attrition, people will leave. If you nudge it up, like rental income, go from 550 rent to 600 to 650 to 7, no one's going to move out of your house over a 50 quid rent increase, but someone might move out of your house over a 200 quid rent increase. It's the same with your products and services. This is why also, this links actually to Joanne's question on perfectionism, because like business owners and entrepreneurs and, you know, the Silicon Valley type techie entrepreneurs know that you've got to get your minimum viable product out there quick, your MVP. Reason number 1 is so you've got something to sell. Reason number 2 is you actually need user feedback to make a better version, but you can't get user feedback until you've got an MVP. So if I ever launch products that are a bit raw, because maybe they're brand new, like this studio is brand new, so I've promoted this live stream and I've not charged any money for it. And I've said that we're not doing recordings and we're not doing replays. And the reason is because I knew there would be tech issues. I just knew there would be. Now, if I'd have charged 100 quid for this and you're waiting for 15 minutes, you're going to be pissed off with me. But I want to get an MVP out there. My team will tell you, this studio isn't quite perfect. I want a glass wall there. There's various things we still want. But we have an operational studio. So I said to the team, there's the budget, 35 grand, build a studio. They did it. They hit the deadline. I went and used it in the first live stream. There's a few things that didn't quite work out. And so maybe in 6 months we'll do a better version of this studio and we'll have less tech issues. So if you build coaching programs, if you have products or services that are information based, write a course, sell it. If it's not perfect, sell it at a slightly lower price. Get user feedback, do version 2, then you charge more. Now this is what iPhone have been doing. This is the iPhone X. I didn't go to the XS because I've only had this about 6 minutes. What's this, 1,000 quid, 1,500 quid? I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Now, of course, this is probably the 8th iPhone that's come out. Now, this is a lot better, but they didn't wait to get it as good as this, to get the product out to the market. So it's the same with your marketing, your message, your videos, your articles, your ads. minimum viable product of anything you do. Now, of course, if you're flying a plane, if you're doing a perfect piece of art, that's different. Get it out there, price it accordingly, because people don't care about price, they care about value. So if someone could get that for 600 quid, it's a bargain. If someone pays 3 grand for that, it's a rip-off. But if they pay 3 grand for that, or one of these cameras, it's a bargain. So it's never about price, it's always about value. So if I'm selling something and knowing that the value's there, it doesn't really matter what the price is. And then I can bang the price up next time, next time, next time. So I'm a big fan of regularly, incrementally increasing your prices. Okay, so, but most people don't because they're scared. They're scared that they'll lose clients. Well, if you put your prices up, you might lose some clients. You'll lose the price shoppers. You'll lose the price comparison ones, the ones that only buy on price. And you know those customers. Those customers are the ones you don't want, that don't care about anything other than screwing you down for the best price. And then they're the most demanding and they put the most on your overhead and they drain you most time and they complain the most and they don't really ever sort of use your product or service in the way that it should be doing. And it's almost like they don't want to, they just want to complain. Imagine if you could get rid of that 5 or 10% of that client base. That'd be liberating. Well, the best way to do that is just bang up the prices. And when they moan, say, oh, sorry, we're just changing our pricing model. Send them off to a competitor. So you shouldn't be scared of that. And you won't know until you test. But the reason I think this is important in 2019 is if the recession comes, or if there's a widening of the gap between the successful and the rest, the best and the rest, the rich and the poor, you know, like Audemars Piguet, my favourite watch brand. I love Audemars Piguet. I have a bit of a collection. They've been banging their prices up and 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 up. And all people who buy Audemars Piguet, they just want more. Now, they only make, I think it's 40,000 a year. So how do they make more margin if they don't make more volume? They up the prices. Now, if they don't make more volume, it means that they've got more and more customers every year. There's more demand of customers than supply of watches. So it forces the price up through supply and demand. And then the second-hand market goes up because everyone can't buy new because there's a waiting list. So they all go and buy the second-hand at a premium. So when they buy the second-hand at a premium, Audemars Piguet are able to up their price to the second-hand market because it can sustain that. And it's a virtuous cycle of prices going poof. I bought an Audemars Piguet Gold Monocle Schumacher. It was £55,000 new. It's nearly 90 grand now. I think they're selling one on Lux watches for nearly 90 grand. I bought a QE2 Cup. 32.5 grand new. I knew when I bought it was going to go wild. They're selling it for 53 grand on, I think it's Watchfinder or Watchbox. Supply and demand, banging your prices up. Now, you might not be a luxury brand, but if you have a choice between being a price comparison, low margin, high volume business, or a bit more bespoke, attracting better quality clients at a higher margin, then I'd probably choose that if you could. So I've already covered that, I've already covered that, I've already covered that, I've already covered that. So finally then, so I already just talked those things out. Finally, a lot of people think that what they do in their business and the prices they charge attracts the clients that they get. But what they don't realise is that their prices repel possibly better clients. So if Casio make a watch for 100 quid, that is going to repel celebrities, millionaires and billionaires, people who like nice watches, nice timepieces, want to show off a bit of bling. It's going to put them off. If Casio made a £50,000 watch out of gold, some of them might buy them because Apple did, and Seiko made a watch which was a much higher brand. And there's other brands that have made more expensive watches. They have to be careful because if you've got a low quality brand, then that sometimes doesn't work. Like Lexus wasn't always that successful because it's basically a Toyota, so you have to be careful. But the point is, if you charge 100 quid for a watch, you are repelling people who would pay 50 grand for a watch, or 30 grand for a watch, or 100 grand for a watch. Now, you don't know the clients you're repelling because you don't see them, because they don't come to you and say, I would have bought from you, but you're only £100, and I'd like to pay £500. They don't do that. You just never see them. So you only know, like I mentor a lot of celebrities, and people pay me £25,000 or £50,000 for my 6-month or year-long mentoring programs, and they're both full. Now, when I started, you could get me for a year for £2 grand in 2008. Part of that was because I had less experience, and part of that was because of my fear of price. Now, each time I put my price up, I'm like, oh, am I going to lose clients? Oh, am I going to lose clients? Oh, am I going to get this business? Oh, we're going to hit the numbers. But every time I bang the price up, all that seems to happen is there's more demand, there's more of a waiting list, and I get better quality clients who are less price shoppers. So some serious things to think about there. All right, cool. So number 6 then, this links to number 1. So number 1 is I don't think the recession or crash is happening this year. Remember, it's my crystal ball, not the crystal ball. I don't want to be eating my words if I'm wrong. This is my opinion and experience. I'm not saying I'm going to be right. And remember, I said, even though I don't think the recession is coming this year, prepare like it is. You should have been for the last few years. You want to have the cash to go buy the gold in the recession when the gold's being sold cheap. Okay, great. So be careful not to get sucked in by the marketers marketing the fear and the doom, because there'll be a lot of them. Be careful not to get sucked into Brexit, recession. Oh, I remember when rates went up by 0.25% and everyone started bricking it. Oh, I remember this. Rate hikes. So rates went from what, 0.25 to 0.5, and they said rate hikes. Well, rates are historically on average 6%, and they've been 10% or 15%, many of you remember in the past. It's not a freaking hike. So people tend to exaggerate. So do not get sucked into all that fear, otherwise you'll end up doing nothing. And that is not what I want for you. So are the people spreading the fear real experts? Some people spreading the fear are just people who are panicking. Just, oh, what am I going to do? I can't do this. Others are marketers or people selling stuff based on fear. And I don't always have a problem with that. If the product is good, but there's going to be more and more of them into the market. Now, if somebody you really admire and respect and trust is giving you a fair warning, then heed it. But don't make it stop you doing anything. So many people I see in property, they wait years for the recession and they buy nothing for 7 years. Well, I might have bought 100 or 200 or 500 houses in those 7 years. I like to buy properties through all parts of the cycle. I like to do business through all parts of the cycle. I'm not going to stop business when the recession comes. So why should I wait? I just need to find a better way of doing business when the market and the economy, and the environment changes. So be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Observe the masses, do the opposite. I believe that to be very, very true. And I think we're working towards a tougher marketplace from the overall economy. But then a tougher market for the overall economy and businesses in general probably means many businesses struggle, but the good ones do really good. So there's that survival of the fittest, that divide between the best and the rest. Get ready. Don't say you didn't have any warning, because it might be a couple of years before this is a reality. And I also like to think, okay, let's say the recession is 2 or 3 years' time. Let's say it is hard. Let's say I have to lose a few staff. Let's say we have to reduce a bit. I might have to. I'm prepared to if I have to. Might have to reduce the overhead. Let's say. And let's say that's 3 years away. Well, I want to fill my boots and double down and go big and large and hard for the next 3 years and maximize that in case it happens. So either way, you're preparing rather than just being scared. Leverage the fear. Use the fear to take action, to stash the business, to stash the bank account, to do more campaigns, to get yourself out there a lot more. And my 40th year, I was 40 a few days ago, going big, baby. sorry Grant and your 10x, 40x, 40x. All right. It's weird being in a room on your own and laughing at yourself. All right, number 7 then is Facebook groups. So I did not start my Facebook groups early enough. I did not start my Instagram account early enough. I did not start my YouTube account early enough. I did not start do LinkedIn early enough. I did not build the studio early enough. I did not set up business early enough. I did not do my podcast early enough. I did not make any money early enough. I didn't untwat myself early enough. That's the reality. But thank goodness I did it when I did. So I have a group called Progressive Property. It's got 22,500 members. That is a wild, amazing, buzzing community. It has something like 60,000 posts a month in it. It makes us millions of pounds and we hardly ever sell in it. It's got amazing people, loads of JVs are done. It benefits the community as well as it does us. It's not even really much selling going on. There's certainly not a pitch festy group. I've got the Disruptive Entrepreneur community, which I started too late, but I started. That's got 12,600 people in it. And that's really starting to get momentum. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in there. People listen to my podcast in there. Many of you might have joined these live feeds from me marketing it into the Disruptive Entrepreneur group. So there's 2 things you want to think here. There's way more trust. No, in fact, there's about 5 things. So scrap what I just said. Men in black. So there's way more trust in a community than there is on a Facebook ad. Now also, when you scroll, if you scroll down past a post, you often don't find it again. And when you scroll, the ad interrupts you and you can be annoyed because it's not what you want to see. But when you choose to go into a Facebook group, it's like you've gone into a bar and you've chosen to be there. So there's way more trust and way more reach and way less trolling and rejection and interrupting people's pattern in a group than on an ad or on a page or on a profile. So it's way better than pages, ads and messenger bots. But of course, if you've only got 6 people in your group, you're only reaching 6 people and you're reaching them when they log in. So if that group that day has a lot of people logging in to the group, and also Facebook will also show your group posts in your feed as well. So it'll push some out. You can get 25, 30%, 40% reach in a day instead of like 3% on all the other profiles on Facebook. It's way more personal than messenger bots and stuff like that. If you set up your own Facebook group, you are the authority. Now, when I was looking to buy my new record player, I went in a couple of hi-fi groups. There was like a turntable talk group, it was called, and then a high-end hi-fi for the passionates or something like that. And that's got about 15,000 members. And I went in and did a few posts, and there's quite a few people who are giving me advice that I perceive know more than me, and there's a couple of dealers. And I ended up spending probably £80,000 on 2 amps, a record deck, an arm and a cartridge out of people I connected with on those groups. Not a bad return for a guy setting up a Facebook group, don't cost any money. Now that was pretty indirect, but like if you're a hi-fi dealer and you've just set up a group, it's not like your hi-fi dealer sales group, it's just a hi-fi group for hi-fi people. And there's 15,000 hi-fi buffs in there. You're going to sell millions of pounds worth of hi-fi gear a year. And you don't even have to do the pictures, you just build your knowledge. You show your knowledge, you become the authority. So everyone watching should have a Facebook group. I think there were 1,500 odd people that booked on the stream. We had way more than 600. I just had a message there that were live. You should all have a Facebook group. I call mine the Disruptive Entrepreneur because I have a podcast called Disruptive Entrepreneur, and I'll teach entrepreneurship in there, and I'll have entrepreneurs in there. And from time to time, I'll sell my own products in there. And then for property, I've got the Progressive Property community, and the same thing. So should you. Now, the next thing is that you should be in all the best groups. The next best thing to having your own with 10,000 plus people in it, or 3,000 plus, is still good, is to be in all the best groups. So in property, there's Progressive Property community, and there are other quite busy property groups. There's quite a lot of good entrepreneur groups. So next best thing is to join a load of them. Now, I have been trawling Facebook and all the groups for many years, and there's a lot of bloody good groups that are free, and there's 10 times more not very good groups that are spam fest or nothing going on or not relevant. And I've collated all of that, and in a few days I'm going to be sharing that as a gift. And that's one of the gifts I'm giving everyone. If you stay to the end, I will give you the gift of collated all the business, all the business, property, personal development, entrepreneur groups, all the best ones that are active where you can build your brand. And if you're in 10 of each of those, you could build, I reckon, a 200 or a 500 grand business just on that if you do it the right way. Okay, so the good thing about Facebook groups is it's targeted. So people use Facebook like Google now. And they'll go onto Facebook and they'll go on the search bar and they'll type entrepreneur, and Facebook will bring up posts, pages, groups that are on entrepreneurship, have keywords in, or are called entrepreneur. Now, entrepreneur, the name entrepreneur was already taken as a group, otherwise I'd have taken that. So I probably get maybe 50, 60 members per day in each group, organic, that I let in, and I only let in about 1 in 4 that apply, just from people going on Facebook and using it as a search engine. So it's great to target your niche and your hungry buyers. Now, of course, I've got momentum. I've been doing it a while. When you start your group, don't expect that on the first day necessarily. You've got to build the momentum yourself. Okay, now if you're not in the Disruptive Entrepreneurs Facebook community, where there's 12,600 odd other entrepreneurs, get in. You can use that to your own brand building purposes as long as you give good content, and when you post sales, you post them in the relevant threads and you follow the etiquette. But you can use it commercially, and obviously we can connect and talk one-to-one. I'm very active in the group and I make comments on people's posts. So if you go to bit.ly/TDECOM, bit.ly/TDECOM, and request a join into that group if you're not already a member. Now, is this live going into the group or is it going onto my page? Do you know?
I believe it's the page.
Okay, fine. So I don't know how many people we've got watching already who are already in the Disruptive Entrepreneur community. But if you're not, go there now and request to join. bit.ly/TDECOM. That's also where I'm going to be giving the gifts away. I'll mention at the end of this live stream. So you'll need to be in there to get them. Let me just get onto Facebook and just check that we've got them coming in. All right, let's have a look. I've got quite a lot of notifications. Death by notification. And terrible signal in this live studio. Always be testing. Everything is a test. I'll have a look in a minute. Okay, right. So I'll give you a minute actually to join that group. bit.ly. Get my teeth back in. bit.ly/TDECOM if you're not already on. And also, if you're watching the stream, which you are, if you can hear me say this, and you don't follow me on YouTube, because the stream goes through YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We put a lot of unique content out there that you never see on my podcast, that you never see in the Facebook groups. There's a lot of different pieces of content we do. We record the videos of all the podcast guests, and I think it's a nice touch and a bit more of an added flavour when you get to watch them, so join there. Still got no signal, I'm on full Wi-Fi. What's going on there?
Just try refresh. You're on the Wi-Fi, yeah?
It's not urgent, I can. I'll accept your request when I get home to bed tonight. All right, great. So number 8 then. I love this image. 1998, Jeff Bezos sells books. 2007, I sell what the fuck I want. And he looks like he's out of the Matrix. What has he done to himself? If that's what you look like when you become a successful business owner, I'm in. I'll have a piece of it. It's really clever what Amazon did. Now, massive companies like Amazon, like Facebook, like Google, they're gobbling up and buying all sorts of companies in all sorts of other media spaces. They're probably going to launch their own currencies. They want to rule the world. They want to do everything. So I think it's really important to watch what the massive companies do and either model their growth curve, because, you know, Amazon started selling books, they niched, and then once they got a lot of buyers, then they started selling other things, and now they sell everything and everyone wants to buy through them. So it's a really good progression of a business model. If Jeff Bezos in 1998 had started selling everything, no one would have bought anything. So follow these big companies. I mean, Facebook bought Instagram. I think they bought WhatsApp. A big company like them bought WhatsApp. So they're just owning more of your attention, and more of the things that you do, they own. They have more of a monopoly on you. And some people are like, oh, well, that's not right, you know, they can't want to know everything, blah, blah, blah. Well, to be honest, would you rather be that business owner or be a victim and moan and complain about people doing this? It's going to happen anyway. So my companies, I've seen a shift. So I believe we're now a media company. So this might be a bit of a risk, but I'm going to take this around. Actually, can you follow me? Yep. This is a gamble. It may not work. But we're in a small part of our downstairs office. So let's just do another walk around the studio. So this room, what did this used to be before it was a studio? Was it a training room, a meeting room?
It would have been the old training room, yeah.
So we used to be just a training company. So we used to have Progressive Property Unlimited Success, and we used to run courses. And this used to be like a storeroom, or like a meeting room or something. And of course now we've redeveloped it into the studio. You can see there, Harry, have a wander around, show them. We used to have a huge meeting room, and we've actually cut it down now by like 2/3 because we're expanding into media. So this is our meeting room, which used to be a lot bigger. It just keeps getting cut and cut and cut. And there's the takeaway that the guys have had running the stream. They're all famous. Let's go round here. So this used to be just desks and our offices, but now it's our basically our media team. So Tom's head of innovation. So Tom basically.
Are you which way around?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
So it's not just my face; it's you. So Tom, when you started, you were head of design.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tom took on the role of head of innovation, which was a risk for him because it wasn't a role we'd ever had.
Oh, we invented the role, we
Yeah.
wrote the job description together.
We invented it, we wrote it, and now Tom runs a social media agency, a podcast agency. He runs a publishing agency where we record books and audio books. So in here we've got audio book recording booths and podcast booths. Now, I'm showing you this because this didn't even exist 2 years ago. It's a bit dark, so it doesn't look that nice. I promise it's a bit more. Where's the light switch?
Inside on the left.
Inside on the left. But people come in here now and record their podcasts and audio books and hire the studio out. There's another one in there. What else do we do in innovation now?
So we manage online courses as well, help people produce online courses, so the recording and editing, but also implementation using platforms like Kajabi.
Yeah.
And then we do publishing outside of audiobooks, helping people do content creation for physical books as well. So Kindle books, getting paperback books done as well.
Yeah.
It's basically everything is content. You know, your podcast, your book, your video, your social. It's all about creating content and then tying it all together, really.
Right. So a year ago, 2 years ago, we didn't have any of this.
No, not a shred of it.
We did the podcast just having a bit of fun, didn't we? And it was just a side thing.
It was, yeah.
We just took a phone and a crappy microphone. Now we take 4 people, 2 kids. Dom Jolly was like, I can't believe how many people you've brought to this podcast. This is too professional, as he necked his glasses of wine. And this side of the business brings in millions of pounds a year now. So, we are, we'll take you back in now. So we are embracing the fact that we are no longer just a property training business. We are a media company. We are a digital media agency for others, but also most importantly for ourselves. And if you don't embrace that and roll with that, you're going to get left behind. Come to me, Harry. That's it. Can you just get this a bit closer, Bella? The live. That's it. This one. And this is what Amazon are. So you need to be on Amazon. You need to be on Facebook. You need all the massive media platforms that have spent billions getting all the eyeballs and the attention and the customers. You need to be on. So years ago, I might have said the good reason to write a book would be to sell book copies. Then you might say, well, your book is a brand. Your book is your business card. Your book gives you credibility. I'd even go as far to say now, you should have a book just so you're on Amazon. Because if you ain't on Amazon, you don't exist. Now, Amazon own Audible, which is the audiobooks. I sell 2-to-1 audiobooks versus physical books. So hundreds of thousands of copies of books a year now. It's some really nice momentum on that. 2 to 1, we sell audiobooks to Amazon Books. So if just for the fact that you're searchable and seen on Amazon and Audible, everyone's got a book in them. The problem is it's still in them. I would definitely encourage you to get exposure and seen on all the big platforms around the world. So you can now follow authors on Amazon. You can click follow, which tells me they're likely to bring in maybe a social element to Amazon. What do Amazon want you to do? Stay on Amazon. What do Amazon not want you to do? Go to YouTube. What do YouTube want you to do? Stay on YouTube. What do they not want you to do? Go onto Facebook. What do Facebook want you to do? Stay on Facebook. Have you noticed in your phone when you go from Facebook to a website, it doesn't actually take you to the website, it takes you to m.facebook.com/ and then the website, and it keeps you in Facebook and it squeezes the website into Facebook because it wants you to come back to Facebook. I don't know, I just went, like a gizmo out of Gremlins. So what do Amazon not do? What do Facebook and Google not do? You need to be all over it. Of course, Amazon is, the reason Amazon's so huge, of course, other than convenience, is trust. When you click that button, you trust. When you click that one-click order button, which was a huge innovation, you trust. We're using Amazon ads. I think we get £12 revenue for every £4 spent. And we've just gone over, in fact, Miles, who was out there, runs our Amazon ads. We've been upping the spend on that. So on Amazon, you get customers always also viewed, customers also bought. And now you can run sponsored ads on your own book, and you can run sponsored ads on your competitors' books. So then that didn't exist a few years ago. So marketing, media, it's all changing. Like advertising and media is liquid. And some people are like, oh, Google AdWords don't work anymore. I can't make Google AdWords work. Oh, I'm so depressed. It used to work. It doesn't work anymore. So do Facebook ads. And then when Facebook ads don't work, use Amazon ads. And then when Amazon ads don't work, use this new platform that none of us ever heard of work. Use that. And I think that links us nicely into the 9th prediction. And that is, oh wait a minute, let me leave that song to play in your head a little longer. Still got no It's going to be a problem not getting a signal here for doing live feeds, isn't it?
I'll get that sorted.
Yeah. You don't need to know my problems, do you? But just sing along with the line on them. All right. So MSOL is multiple streams of leads, and MSOI is multiple streams of income. I'm slouching, sorry. And I think it's vital that you have multiple streams of leads and multiple streams of income if you want to survive and thrive through, you know, what might be a turbulent few years, or if you want to scale your business, or if you want to beat your competitors. So I remember when I bought my first 20 odd properties, I hired some marketing people. You know, I went to some marketing courses, I studied some of the Americans, I read all Dan Kennedy's books. And I remember Dan Kennedy saying to me, how are you getting all your properties? You know, how are you doing your marketing? How are you getting your leads? I didn't really understand all that language back then. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to estate agents, build relationships and get more from estate agents. It was like, nice one, well done. Where else do you get leads for properties? Well, you don't really get them any other way. Surely you do. Well, I don't know them and I don't need them because I get them through estate agents. And he was like, well, what about leafleting, doing postcards, newspaper ads, all these other things, the aging technique, billboards, banner ads, bandit boards, and all this stuff I'd never really thought of. And he said, Rob, you think it's smart that you're getting all your deals from estate agents, but what if the estate agents, instead of just charging the vendor a fee, charged you £5,000 every time you wanted to buy a property? And I said, well, they wouldn't. And he said, well, how do you know? I said, well, I don't. And he said, because if they do, you might not be able to get 20 properties next year because you might not want to pay £100,000 in fees. You might not be able to get any. What if the estate agents change the way they do business, or struggle to get properties, or the world changes, or everyone goes online? And so the point he was banging on about is, he said, it's far better to have 20 lead sources and get 20 properties from 20 different sources than it is one lead source getting them all from one place. Because if you have one lead source and that dries up, you have nothing left. And you know, for example, when people say, and I've heard this a lot this week, because I've been doing a lot of one-to-one calls, oh, I don't do any advertising, it's all word of mouth. And you know, they say it like it's a badge of honour, like they should be proud of it. Well, I worry for them, Because if you only have word of mouth, you only have one stream of leads. And what about if your brand comes into disrepute, you have a legal case, you have some bad advertising, you have one client who turns a bit vitriolic, and the word of mouth gets bad, then you're over. You are done. Whereas if you're advertising, you're always reaching new people. So you want to be building multiple different streams. Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, Facebook pages, Facebook groups, your Facebook profile, maybe, Instagram, Twitter, you know, you name it. And that's just digital, and I haven't even named them all. Then there's, of course, there's print, and there's major media like TV and radio. Now, I'm not saying to you, go and spend a load of money on all these different lead generation sources, because actually the smart thing to do is to leverage the free ones first, test the paid ones on a small amount of money, and then when you've proven the conversion environment, then you up the spend. So just having word of mouth marketing is nothing to be proud of as a business owner. It's a risk. So I believe that the really important thing in growing your business and marketing and getting increased reach is ABC. So in sales they call it ABC, always be closing. In marketing it's ABT, always be testing. I'm testing new ads all the time. We're trying to get in and test Spotify ads. The Amazon ads we're doing now, we're now spending quite a few thousand a month, I believe. We've had millions of impressions on our ads. We've sold thousands of books from the Amazon ads that we wouldn't have sold before. Now, when we first did it, that was just a test. Facebook ads were just a test. I remember the days when Facebook ads were rubbish and we weren't getting anything out of them. So if you test small all these strategies, when one works, you scale it up. And then when one dies and another one flies, then you're de-risked. Now, here's something else that really interests me when I speak to business owners. I speak to a lot of business owners that have 10 staff, 15 staff, 12 staff, 5 staff, 6 staff, and they've got 0 or 1 person in marketing. To me, that's insane. Marketing is business. Marketing is generating the leads to do the sales. Without the leads, you can't do the sales. Without the sales, you don't have any money. Without any money, you have a hobby, not a business. So marketing is the solely most important function of any business. Yet most people have a PA and an MD and someone in accounts and this and that before they have someone in marketing. Marketing is the thing that will grow your business. And testing new ads all the time is marketing, and you could consider hiring someone if that's not something that you want to do personally. So when I started Progressive Property, Mark and I compartmentalised our time in our diary. He was doing property buying, I was doing Google ads, doing the website and doing marketing. So essentially the first role I took on that wasn't buying property was marketing. So you could argue our first job description was marketing. Something to think about. Okay, so there's so much I feel I could help you with. I feel like I could help you create more streams of leads, more streams of income. I feel like I could help you build a vast personal brand. I feel like I could really help you scale up your revenue this year through your marketing. I could get you out there more exposure, more reach. I've got a lot of knowledge on, knowing how to work the media platforms that are free to get 200, 500 organic followers a day. I know how to do launch and marketing campaigns. I've got a lot of business partners who are experts in various different parts of sales and marketing and business. And because of that, for the first time ever, I'm very proud to announce that we are launching our brand new Business Breakthrough Summit. This is a brand new event. Now, one of the things I want to do in my 40th year is focus more on helping entrepreneurs build your business. You've seen me teach a lot on podcasts. You've seen Progressive Property do a lot of property courses. You've seen us do e-commerce courses. This year, for me, as a theme, is the one thing I wrote here as a theme, get uncomfortable. I don't know if you can see that. So get uncomfortable, me, and do things I wouldn't normally do, take bigger risks, bigger marketing campaigns, put myself out there more, take more risks myself, up my content. And I'd like you to grab onto my coattails and do the same thing for your journey. Get uncomfortable, put yourself in situations where you can grow, where you can win more business and make more money. And let's be honest, most of that probably is in areas of discomfort for you, otherwise you'd already done it and you'd already be making the money. And also this year I'm going to focus a lot on business related content. So what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner? A business owner maybe has and builds one business. An entrepreneur maybe does lots of businesses. So entrepreneur business, same sort of thing. So you could call it the Entrepreneur's Breakthrough Summit. But I'm going to help you break through your ceilings as a business owner. Now remember at the start I said I'm going to give you a 95% discount on that. There's a few reasons for that. Number one, it's my 40th birthday. I'm going to be giving away lots of gifts this year. I'm feeling generous, a little bit old. And I'm going to up my marketing efforts. I'm going to up my campaigns. I'm going to up the claims that I'm going to make, and I'm going to prove them, and I'm going to deliver them, and I'm going to put lots of deals out there. You're going to be getting a load of deals off me this year. I don't so much need the money anymore. I could retire for many lifetimes. I like money and I'll certainly accept it, but I don't so much need the money anymore, so I don't need to charge thousands of pounds for every one of the courses I do. And also I know there's a lot of people that follow me that have never been to any of my events, so I want to give you a chance to come and get a taste of how we can help you. All right, so write these dates down. It's really important. If you're getting married on either of these dates, cancel the wedding. That can always be rebooked, but we're not planning to do any other business breakthrough summits after the 9th and 10th of March. So we've got one on 23rd, 24th of March, one on 23rd, 24th of Feb, and one on 9th, 10th of March. Write that down. So it's a 2-day business breakthrough summit. Myself and my team of partners and specialist experts are going to be coming in to teach you to break through your business sales, marketing, social media, personal brand, creating campaigns, growing your reach, generating more leads, all the things that lead to money in business. It's at our Peterborough Training Academy. We can fit about 250 people at a squeeze up there. So we had 1,500 people register for this live stream. We had more than 600 on it last time, I was told. So at least 3/5 of you are going to miss out if you don't do it right away, just letting you know. And we only have those 2 dates planned. I've not planned beyond that. If this event goes really well, I might run another one. I have no plans to. I've got more other things planned for the rest of the year. The retail price will be $497 plus VAT. I've sold 2-day courses at £2,000. I've sold 2-day courses at £3,000. I'm going to give you a 95% discount on that in a minute, but let me just tell you what you're going to get and to check if it's relevant for you. So you want to get ready, be ready. Let me talk you through it all first. Don't go anywhere, and then I'll give you the links. We also have 2 ticket levels. So when I tell you the first ticket level, let me tell you the second ticket level before you make your decision. Okay, great. So I'm going to help you break through your business ceiling, whether you're a startup or a scale-up. I'm going to teach you multiple streams of income and multiple streams of lead sources. I'm going to, on the 2-day course with me and my team of speakers and experts. It's going to be heavily weighted towards specific marketing strategies for the digital age for maximum income. Some people say to me, hey Rob, if I work with you, do I have to spend £15,000 a month on my marketing? No. Ideally, you spend zero. Ideally, what you're spending, I get you to stop spending. Because LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook groups and podcasts and all these media are places where you for free can generate hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds worth of business. I know it because I'm doing 15 to 20 million pounds a year. I have every year for the last 3 or 4 years, mostly in digital. Have you ever seen us doing ads in a newspaper? Have you ever seen us do ads in a magazine? Have you ever heard us doing ads on the radio? Have you ever seen us do a TV ad? No, never. By the way, I'm always negotiating with them, but I'm always turning them down. Because when they say 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand, I know for like nothing I could get 1,000 leads on Facebook, or I could pay £5 for a lead on Facebook ads. So it's mostly digital ads we do, or the digital marketing, and most of it is free marketing. I'm going to help you build a vast personal and business brand for maximum reach and revenue, and I'm going to teach you to dominate your niche in social media. Now, I say this with humility, but there are only a few American influencers that have bigger reach and following and comments and businesses that I do. I'm pretty much one of the biggest influencers, I hate that word, but I say it because it's what people recognise, in the UK. And I'm leveraging social media, and it's really working. And I know the best is yet to come. So what I know and what we know, we're going to teach you. How to create relatively passive online and e-commerce income. Have to set to forget. You have to work hard not to have to work hard. This is not get rich quick passive income scheme. But I have many income sources, probably 9, and many of those I do 30 to 60 minutes a month on. My letting agency over there that generates maybe 300 grand a year in profits, I get a third of that, and I don't even do 30 minutes a month. I don't even do 30 minutes every 6 months. So there are passive income streams, there are passive leads. It is possible. but you have to put the work in up front. Okay, so how to become an influencer, how to build a large personal brand, how to build assets online that produce income and followers and people who buy all your products. I mean, you know, we've been going 12 years now, and I've got customers that have been buying from me for 9 years. And many customers, they just buy the new thing and the new thing and the new thing because there's trust, and we've been doing it a while. How to start and scale any business model, and how to grow and leverage your business without high costs and without taking undue risks. So to summarize, the mindset, the skill set, the strategies and the tactics for entrepreneurs, which is people who have also got a job, entrepreneurs, people who juggle a few side hustles, and empire builders, big business owners or wannabe big business owners. They're the 3 types of people that this event is for if you want to go big like me on my 40th birthday in 2019. Okay, so the 95% discount makes it £19. In fact, it's a 96% discount plus that. So remember, the reason I'm doing this is because it's my 40th birthday. I'm going to go big. Many of you haven't been to an event of mine yet, so you don't maybe know how good my events can be. And I really think we can get you growing and going big in 2019. But I've not finished, so stay with me, because I'm also going to add in Business Income Builder, which is 6 audio and video discs, part 1, and another 6, part 2. So both of these sell for £97 each. That's what they sell for. Everyone who books onto the business success, I can't fucking remember the name of my own course, Business Breakthrough Summit. Everyone who books on the Business Breakthrough Summit, you're going to get a set of these, which sell for 97 each, so 197 free. So there's 12 modules on these. So let me see what we cover. Let's have a look. So we've got module 1 is defining your vision for your business. Module 2 is defining your product and audience. Module 3 is marketing fundamentals for a small business. Module 4, finding and securing your first clients. Module 5.1, systemizing your business. Module 5.2, deep dive details and systemization. Module 6, managing your business. Module 7, scaling your business. Module 8, long-term growth and legacy planning. Module 9, conclusion, wrap up and next steps. And then there are bonuses on new business, accounts and finance setup, onboarding and developing a company culture. Plus there's printed workbooks of all the content in there. So these, I've sold a load of these for 197 each, because they're really a 2-parter of the same thing. So if you go to bit.ly/BBS tickets, you can get a ticket to the Business Breakthrough Summit. I told you it's new, I can't even say the name. And you get a set of these completely free, all for 19 quid. I mean, this probably cost us 19 quid to produce. Another reason why I can make these big discounts, I own the training suite over there, so there's very low overhead on it. If this was at a London hotel, I'd probably have to charge you a few hundred quid. So you can either go and do that now, or you could just stay with me for a minute, because we've also got VIP premium tickets. So for those of you that, you want a better experience and you want some more bonuses and you want to get a bit more involved in the event and with the speakers, the VIP premium tickets have everything that the gold ticket has: Business Breakthrough Summit, the Business Income Builders modules 1 to 9 plus bonuses, but you also get VIP seating at the front, priority entry. You also get my 6-week online business coaching program. So I've got an online business coaching program where you get me for an hour and a half every week for 6 weeks, teaching you to grow your business. Now, this is like a start your business program, whereas my business coaching program is a grow and scale your business program. And you also get to have dinner with me on the Saturday night. Now, I can maybe do 12 of those, because obviously it's dinner with me and we can't have 50 of us. So let me give you the link quickly on that one. So that's £67 plus VAT. When you roll everything in, it's about £2.5 grand worth of stuff. So if you go to bit.ly/premium ticket, the first 12, you can get dinner with me, you can get my 6-week business coaching program, which is me running it online, and then you can get VIP tickets, VIP seating. And if you just want the standard tickets, then the link is In fact, both the links are now on the screen, so you make your choice. So I'm done now in terms of talking about the business success. I get it wrong. Business Breakthrough Summit. Business Breakthrough Summit. I'm done talking about that. You've got two choices. Do you want to come for £19 and get the business income builder, which is just really a fast start business for your business for free? Or do you want to get a Business Breakthrough Summit ticket plus these home study programs, plus dinner with me, plus my 6-week business coaching program just for 67 plus that? So let me talk to you while you're doing this. Go and do it right now. We can fit 250 in. We had over 600 live when I was last told. So you have to go and do it right now. You can't wait till tomorrow, otherwise you're going to miss out. Well, you can wait till tomorrow if you want, but you'll probably miss out. But let me tell you what I'm thinking here. So I want there to be a home study element as well as a live element. We do lots of events, but I want to up my game on home study and offering you stuff at home as well as coming to us. So on the standard tickets, that is home study element. I mean, there's a good 15 hours worth of business fast start content on there, setting up every department of your business. So you can do that, and then you come to the event. By the way, the content on here is completely different to the Business Breakthrough Summit. There's no overlap of any content. So that's my idea on this ticket. And then to be able to meet you, you might not come to meet me for 500 quid, but you might come to meet me for 20 quid, so you can come to meet me and of course all my other speakers and experts in the various different areas I told you. This one is a bit more scaling your business, and it's a little bit more time with me and growth focused. So obviously you get the gold ticket as well, but the 6-week business coaching program is to help you scale a business if you have one already. And I think having dinner with me with 12 or so of us, you know, you'll obviously be able to ask me any question you want. So that's a little bit more involved, but it's still only 67 quid. Once we've done the 12 of those, that will finish. So it's probably going to be sold out now or just about now. And then once we've booked the 200 odd on for this, we'll close it. Now remember, we've got 2 dates. So let me find out what they are. Oh, wait a minute, it's there, isn't it? Yeah, there. There you go. So we've got 23rd and 24th of Feb or 9th and 10th of March. So, you know, you've got a choice. You don't always have a choice of events. You've got a choice, so you should be able to make one or the other. Now, by the way, a lot of people make up prices. That 2,492 plus VAT isn't made up. In fact, I just got paid £20,000 to do a 1-day speaking gig. So if you get 2 hours with me over dinner, you can put your, by the way, I'll buy the dinner as well. So, you know, you can just put the value just on that. We've sold loads of these at 97 each. Now look, we haven't sold the Business Breakthrough Summit at 497 yet because it's a brand new event. If we ever do run them in the future, which I'm not planning, we'll charge 497 for them. You'll see that in the future if we do. I like to do special launches. I like to give big discounts for people who get in early and go and get in first. All right, great. So let's have a look. There are the summaries. Carrie, could you just go out and check if anyone's got any questions about the Business Breakthrough Summit? I want to make sure. If you're having problems with, say, the payment page, the loading, because often there's a lot of people on the page, putting your credit card information, duplicate payments, guests, all of that, then just notify in one of the threads. Say, Rob, I'm trying to do it, I want to do it, but there's a problem. I don't have my card on me, whatever it is, just put in the thread that you're having some kind of problem. Then we'll go through the threads tomorrow and we'll make sure, because you're securing your place even though you weren't able to pay because you're having an issue. So at the very least, put your name in the thread and say, hey, look, I'm trying, it's not working out, can you call me tomorrow? We'll call you tomorrow, we'll get it booked. Harry's going to come back in a minute, hopefully with some questions on the Business Breakthrough Summit, if you've got any, because there are usually a lot. Now look, it might be a brand new event, you know, because it's called the Business Breakthrough Summit. Whoa. But I've been running events for 10 years. We run about 800 events a year, 800 event days. So this is not a new event. This is not, you know, something I've never done before. I'm going to bring 10, 12 years of experience on business, on marketing, on scaling up, on leveraging media. Although we do spend £120,000 a month on marketing, I would say more than 50% of our marketing is free lead generation. It's emailing existing contacts, it's referrals, but an affiliate program referral, not just word of mouth, it's that as well. It's also social media and all the various different groups. I'm actually our company's 4th biggest lead source now. And Progressive Property has been going 8 years more than my personal brand has. So there's a lot of that experience coming to this event, and I've got some great speakers with some new stuff that a lot of people haven't seen before. All right, cool. I've answered that one already. So Steve has asked, are hashtags and keywords still key to building followers and eyeballs? I think it depends on your platform. So people are hashtagging in Facebook groups. It's a complete waste of time, I think, because that post isn't going to be shown outside of the Facebook group. People seem to hashtag a lot on Instagram and it seems to work. People seem to hashtag on Twitter and it seems to work. But I'll be honest, I don't really use hashtags, and I've never really seen much direct benefit from all the testing I've done because I have tested it. When you see a post and it's got like 60 hashtags, it just stinks of desperation. So I'm not sure it's quite as good as it used to be compared to being in good Facebook groups, having your own Facebook group, doing a podcast, doing LinkedIn. But you can always test by putting a hashtag in and checking your followers and seeing how many go up, or seeing, on LinkedIn, it will give you how many profile views you've got. So I get about 500 profile views a day now. A year ago, I might have got 50 profile views a day or 30 profile views a day. And so you put a post, you test, you see if you get more profiles, views that day, so you're expanding your reach. I also will just tell you I'm not a mega expert on hashtags. I never think I've been able to do it that well, and some people might be able to do it better than me. But I found better ways or different ways to get eyeballs. The question there, Steve, is Business Breakthrough Summit good if you're just starting out? Yes, it's for startups and scale-ups, and the content will be equally divided. I'd say 1/4 to 1/3 will be better content for startups. 1/4 to 1/3 will be better content for scale-ups. And then the middle half to 1/3 is stuff that startups and scale-ups can use. Who's presenting and guest info? Do you know what? I don't have the speaker lineup in front of me. I gave you what's being spoken about. So we're speaking about e-commerce and building an e-commerce business, definitely. We're speaking about building your business empire. We're speaking about various different social media platforms, specifically, for example, podcasting, LinkedIn, etc. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but I have to get back to whoever asked that on the name of all the speakers. I'm doing a keynote slot. I think I'm doing 2 slots. I would never put anyone on my stage unless they were legitimately the expert in the thing. Even many of them know a lot more than me in the thing that they're speaking about. I've answered that one. Do you struggle ever to find things to post? No, I don't. But I know a lot of people do, so just bear with me a minute and I'll teach you why I don't struggle. Because for years, I used to walk around like that. Like when you're having an argument with someone in your head, when you're just thinking all the time and you're just not really seeing the world, or when you're walking around with your nose on your phone, and that used to be me. And I never really used to take a peripheral view of life in general, never really struggled to be present in the moment. And then when I started doing content, I'd plan in an hour, maybe 3 times a week, to sit there and write my content. And sometimes I'd sit there and I'd be inspired a couple of times. And other times I'd sit there and I'd be like, I ain't got nothing, I'm all dry. But now, I just open my blinkers, and whatever I do in the day, I can do a podcast on it, I can do a live on it. So, I'll give you an example of 4 ideas I had today for content, just so I just back up what I'm saying, basically. Let's have a look. Where is it? Right, so I listened to a podcast today, and someone said, ideas are nothing without action. And I thought, that's bollocks. Because my team give me ideas all the time. And in fact, my team will often say, oh, well, sometimes there's no point giving Rob an idea because he never uses it. But what they don't realise is they give me an idea, and then that morphs into another idea, and then I sit on that and it gestates, is that the word? And then I'm inspired. So ideas have value even without action because they have a gestation period. And like if Harry, who's behind the cameras here, has an idea and I'm like, I'm not sure, I'll take it and I'll go, but maybe we should add this on. And then I give it to Tom and Tom goes, but maybe we should add this on. And then we execute what Tom said, Harry's idea and then my idea became part of the solution. So actually, ideas are something without action. So I heard that on a podcast and I just thought that's good content. And I actually really believe what I've just said. What else did we have? Let's have a look. I have so many bloody emails at the moment. It just makes me feel sick just looking at them. Ah, here we go. So someone said to me, Rob, how do you stay enthusiastic in business when there's so many problems that happen every day? And I said to her, well, I get to solve those problems that everyone else is struggling with. I'm really grateful to be in the position that I am. When I solve them, you know, I grow and I make more money. And really, business is about solving problems. And if clients are hiring me, they want me to solve their problems. So when a lot of people are looking for businesses to solve their problems, I think that business is solving other people's problems. We had this chat and I thought that'd make a good podcast. Now, when I do it, you'll be the judge if it does or it doesn't. If it does, I'll do more content like it. If it doesn't, I won't. Someone said to me, I've been working with a coach, and she said to me I should be a woman-only brand and only focus on targeting women. And she looked at me, and I think she was hoping that I disagreed with that. And I sat there for a minute, and I went, that's bollocks. Like, what woman only wants to be respected by women? I don't know one now. I know I'm going on dangerous ground here, but I'm going to say what I think. But look, I'm all up for niching and finding your ideal client. But why get rid of 49.99% of the population by only doing business for women? And also, if you want to be respected as a leader, you should be wanting to be respected as a leader or a business owner, not a male one or a female one or a whatever one. So I think someone should niche in what they do and what they do best, not a demographic or a stereotype or a sex or a race or whatever. So that's, I know it's a bit, you know, risky maybe to start talking about that, but I really believe that. You know, I'm inspired by women. I want to have women clients and I want to have women mentors. And I want to have men clients and men mentors. Why would I segregate half the frigging population? That's dumb. I'd make half the money. And by the way, I'm always naturally going to attract more men than women because I'm a man and I'm a shouty, ranty, gobby, ginger bearded one at that. So you're naturally going to attract people like you anyway. I mean, my biggest demographic of clients and followers is 35 to 45-year-old men, because I'm a 4-year-old man. It just makes sense. So who you are is naturally attracting some people. So I really got a big opinion on that, so that'll be a post. So there are 3 examples, and I've got loads more written down in my notes here, of discussions I had today that have become content. So you open your eyes, instead of just going, oh, I'm doing business now. Oh, wait a minute, now I've got to do my content. Oh, I'm doing business now. What you do is I'm doing my business and think, could that be content? Could that be a post? Could that be a behind the curtain video? Now, you know, you see a lot of the influencers, they're bringing their offices, their staff, their life into social media and into their content. And I think that's great. And that's an easy way to do it. And then you get leverage. I'll tell you what, we'll go till 10. Because I plan to go till 10 for the Q&A. So we've got 7 minutes left. Have we still got people on? Is it all still good? I'm not just talking to myself?
100.
Yeah, cool. All right. Importance of the personal brand for normal business. Well, I think it's vital. Do you remember I said there's the personal brand, Steve Jobs, there's the business or company brand, Apple, and then there's the product brand, iPhone, iPad, iWatch. Now, if you only have one of them, then you're missing 2/3 of great assets. What if you want to sell your business? What if your business goes bust? What if you want to change your business? What if you go into a new business? If you have no personal brand, you have no customers, no followers, no fans, no leads, no reach. So I think it's, now look, if you've got a business and you're happy with the business and the business is going well and you want to scale in different areas, then just spend like 20% of your time working on your personal brand. Just do a couple of posts a week. Spend a little, but you will not regret it, I don't think, even if you're a doctor, a dentist, or lawyer. Because that's the only thing you don't own your job. Your boss could fire you tomorrow. You don't own your job. You don't own anything, but you own your personal brand. and you own your followers and fans. Well, technically, actually, if Facebook shut down, you'll lose them all. But if you then got them to opt in somewhere or got them onto another profile, you could de-risk. But you own your personal brand. That's yours. No one can take that away. It's a good de-risk. Think of it as a de-risk as well as like growth. People ask that because they're worried about the time implications. Start with 3 hours a week. Do it in the car. Do a live feed video in the back of the car. Do a live while you're doing a minute. I even did a live. I was having a haircut, and I thought this is a shit use of time sitting there having a haircut, 10 minutes that I could be using better. So I did a meeting with a load of my staff while I was getting a haircut. And Mark took a photo and outed me on social media, and a few people thought I just completely lost my marbles. But that was a good use of time, because then I was able to do a meeting while I was having a haircut and not lose the time. Now, if I'd have recorded that as a live feed, I'm getting my haircut done, having a meeting with the team and producing content. So that's triple leverage. I haven't had the courage to do that yet because I know I'll get trolled for that. I get trolled anyway. So someone here has written specific business needs, specific social channels. That sounds like a statement, not a question. I'm not sure if it's a question because it's just written as a statement. I've got a view on this. I've got both polarized views. View number one is, of course, certain businesses have a better lean towards certain channels. So PT, celebrity, anything visual, Instagram. Community-based stuff, Facebook. Businessy, corporate-y stuff, LinkedIn. Under 21, Snapchat. You know, I get that. And you want to be on those places, bettering your competition. But if you're a PT and there aren't many PTs on LinkedIn, you're fishing in a new pond. So I'm really embracing trying to test all media, because there's likely to be some media I would perceive didn't work that do work. I was surprised on Amazon ads how well that worked, that I could spend £3 and get £12 in revenue. That's almost a license to print money. Now, okay, we've done a few million, we've had a few million people that those ads reach. I don't know if that will scale to 100 million or 1 billion yet, but I'm going to keep pushing that. So is hard print advertising worth it anymore? Dom, good question. I'm less and less interested in hard print advertising, because what Google completely revolutionized is that they could run an ad to one person, whereas the print media can't run an ad to one person. So the problem is you've got the ad agencies or the print media say, oh, this has got 1 million readers, when in fact it mostly just sits on the train in London and no one actually reads it, it just sits there. And no one else can ever prove how many readers they've got. Then they've got to read it all, find your ad at the back somewhere and then respond to it. I've tested ads on the Metro newspaper. We might get 20, 30 leads. It costs a few grand, you know, it's not that great. Now, that being said, you know, imagine now with not many people do direct mail in the post anymore. You started doing that now. Your letter's going to get opened because we don't get as much mail as we used to, whereas email is quite competitive. So on the one hand, I'm thinking, when media is dying, don't die with it. But on the other hand, I'm thinking it might have a retro rebirth. Like DM would definitely, like, I've been writing handwritten letters to get big podcast guests and I get about 50% of them reply to me. Whereas I might get 10% of them reply to me, or 5% if we do an email or message them on their social media. You know, who writes letters anymore? That's why it works, because there's no fight for attention anymore there. How I'd approach print advertising, because we do some but not much, is I'll test all the ads on digital, make sure that all the conversion environments have worked, the ad works, the number works, the page they go to or the salesperson they go to converts. And then once that's all been tested on my Facebook ad, then I'll have the confidence to run it as a print ad. What you never want to do is run an untested print ad, because you might as well just burn your money. In fact, give me your money, because I'll gratefully receive it instead of wasting it. All right, cool. That's 10 o'clock. We're good to go. So you've got the bit.ly/BBS tickets for the gold level. You've got bit.ly/premium tickets for the VIP platinum level, where you get the 6-week business coaching program It's a recorded one with me, and you also get dinner with me on the evening, and you get VIP front row seating. Maybe leave everyone on for 30 more seconds to have a go to get the link, and then it's shut. I don't know how many tickets we've sold. If we've had over 600 on this stream, I'm going to guess we're going to be over 200, so we're going to be very nearly sold out, if not sold out. I mean, look, if we've only got 12 premium tickets, that might be a struggle. And we may have to refund some people, because I don't know if on our page, once 12 are sold, it then stops the sale. So some of you, if you were late on the premium, we might have to move you over to the gold. I'm just saying if you were after the last 12, because I'm not sure that functionality is on our page yet, because it's a new event. So yeah, I think that's all good. I'd love to see you at the Business Breakthrough Summit. There you go, the last 3 times I did say it correctly. What have you got to lose? Do you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go even bigger. If you come in at the end of the 2 days, you thought it was shit, I'll even give you the 19 quid back or the 67 quid back, and I'll pay you petrol. I'm that sure. So I'll even put, I mean, it's hardly any money anyway. I mean, your time is the risk, because that's more valuable than the money. But I'll pay for you. If you come to me or my team at the end of the 2 days, and if you genuinely got nothing out of it that doesn't pay for itself and the travel, I'll pay your expenses to get there, and I'll give you your ticket money back. Because I don't want your money if it doesn't work for you, but it will. Because for that kind of money, you're definitely going to get a lot out of it. And it's a good chance for me to meet many of you, because there's many of you that follow me that I haven't met yet, so that's going to be good. And for me to earn your trust and show you how I can really help you. I've helped a lot of business people, especially in the UK, but also over the world, made a lot of millionaires. And I'm saying I'm bringing a specialist team in for this, many speakers who are better than me at their specialist fields. All right, cool. Time for bed. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in on the YouTube. Thanks for tuning in on the Facebook. Thanks for sticking with us when we had our tech issues. Good work on having some backup, Harry.